It is the AV Marketers Meetup this morning, and this morning we will hear from a panel of experienced marketers on new age marketing, B2B strategies and essential skills. Brand creativity, data tech, talent management, sustainability, and the impact of AI on marketing strategies. We're all going to talk about all of that, and the moderator for this session is the Director of Marketing and Growth at Innomate UXT, Mr. Neil Collins. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us. So I think first we'll probably just start with some introductions, and being professional communicators, I'll let you all introduce yourselves, obviously. So why don't we start with you, Dale?
Great, thanks Neil. So my name is Dale Moore. I'm the head of product marketing for audio products at Yamaha.
I'm Devyani Sharma. I'm from Access Communications.
I'm Ellesse Fehlberg. I am GPA's Director of Global Marketing.
I'm Grace. I'm the Marketing and Comms Manager at Merge Technologies.
So AI has moved, in my opinion, very quickly from the fringes to very much just the everyday now in the workplace. So I think we'll probably kick off by talking a little bit about adoption and just get a bit of insights from each one of you about just how AI, in any sense, has impacted the daily flow of your marketing work or within your organization. And that can be, I guess, to address a semi-elephant in the room as well, AI is a lot more than just ChatGPT for a lot of people that are just using ChatGPT. So I'm going to be very keen as well to hear about all the other aspects of AI, design, video, data. So go with it, and let's learn from the experts. Devyani, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I come from a Swedish company, Access Communications, and we're the world's leading surveillance company. So security and safety kind of is like the DNA of what we do. Cybersecurity and cyber vulnerability is a huge aspect. So and we're a Swedish company, so GDPR is the forefront. So data security, making sure data is not leaked is a huge component of that. So how we're actually leveraging AI at the moment is at a very practical level. So we've got a team at HQ. We realize ChatGPT is kind of coming in really hot and heavy. Everyone's using it, perhaps even misusing it to an extent, and we're losing a lot of brain power from people. So the team at HQ, they've kind of built this our own version of a GPT, where it's got all of the organization's knowledge, all of our data. And so if we want to build content, if we want to build messaging, it's on tone, it's safe and secure, and we're using it internally, but we can leverage it externally. So that's a direct impact of AI being used in the company. And another really interesting way, what you mentioned about optimization is, so we use Salesforce, SFDC, we're using Pardot as like the main form of kind of comms externally. So we're finding that, Salesforce is really interesting in terms of a tool. If you buy the right modules and you have the right licensing, you can add on really cool things, AI-enabled things that can, one, help you score customers, like, the customer score, and get the right message out to them. So if they have a score of anywhere from like 70 to 90, then they're really hot, maybe they've attended a webinar, then Pardot is ready to kind of keep them nurtured and keep them warm with the right content based on their interests. So there's some really cool things that are happening just in a real world kind of scenario, but I have some extra thoughts, but I'll share later.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I honestly, I feel like AI should be there to inspire and augment versus kind of replacing people to an extent. And I think if we do it right, then there's a huge synergy with AI and organizations using it the right way. And it's what you said, it's that optimization, it's that personalization, it's that content creation. And at another level, what we're also thinking about doing is actually incorporating chatbots to make sure that customers are actually, staying engaged. So if they're on the page, they want to buy something or they want to interact with an integrator or a distributor, we're not losing them on that first touch. They're not just sending an email and it's gone to the void. There's somebody there, or at least a bot that's interacting and helping them with that journey.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we've just done a similar thing, just only very recently. And I think you're right, that deal lifecycle management, I guess, for want of a better expression, where you're following, from a prospect to a deal, used to be quite a laborious manual process and a lot of guesswork, expert guesswork, obviously, but still quite laborious and manual. But that's really speeded the whole process up, in my experience. Grace, what's your experience been like so far?
I think AI has helped a lot, like marketers ourselves, help with all the automating a lot of the tasks, like, reporting, a lot of the admin stuff. That's kind of helped ease and provide us a little bit more time where we can actually do the strategic thinking, the long-term planning, the relationship building with the clients and our partners that we actually get to interact with. So stuff like reporting, data statistics and analysis, that has taken a lot of, the time that we would have spent on it, to shorten that, and we can actually do more stuff on the planning side. And in terms of work, I'm pretty sure this is under NDA. My boss just came in, so I don't want to speak about it. But we've got like a new AI tool that we've built in Microsoft Copilot Studio, I believe. Yes. And that's going to help a lot of the support side for our customers. That will alleviate, like level 1, tier 1 support.
So we talked a little bit about adoption now, and I guess scaling that up, especially for the larger businesses and global businesses amongst us here. What are some of the major challenges that you have on your radar, or just sort of maybe keeping you up at night?
Yeah, I mean, there's really similar things. So just being the size of our business globally in Japanese, they're very... even trying to implement a learning management system recently, the answer was no, you can't do it because of the data restrictions. It's like, but hang on, everyone's using this system globally. Why are we... So our sort of global policies on things often restrict us a little bit. Sometimes in Australia we go rogue on certain things a little bit and then get told after that was a little bit wrong. But they also then come to us because we go rogue and go, oh, can you try this for us? So it's sort of we get the best of both worlds there to a degree. But
you're now the test lab.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, everything is very much what's going to happen with data. So how can we? It's not just the IT involvement, but particularly senior management. It's such a... It can be really prohibitive and frustrating that we can't do certain things. So I think that's probably partly why there isn't even a discussion that at least I've been involved in about AI and how we use it. Because I think any sort of formal plug into the business would be just a complete no-no. So it's probably how we can do it in an underground... Should I say saying this up here? Yeah. It's not been recorded, but how we could do it in a little bit of a way that's not too... impactful on the data and stuff that we collect, and how we can do it to add value, and maybe try and prove some cases to go, okay, maybe we should be looking at it more. Yeah,
like test in isolation, I guess. Again, it's a little bit like the early days of software as a service, CRMs that terrified everybody at the beginning because it was, everybody that was sort of had their eye on the prize with data collection. Ellesse?
So our biggest challenge is IP. That's been probably the biggest conversation point internally. I think the latest stat we heard was that 78% of code is already in ChatGPT. So controlling the use of AI tools in-house has been a bit of a battle because there's so many legal ramifications with that.
So how are you managing that?
Yeah, so there's now policies coming out internally in terms of what tools, but that means that we're having to speed up much quicker than I think we thought we would to release and get everyone access to the right tools that are approved by the board.
I think lawyers are about to have a great time.
That's the thing. I think that's it. Yeah, if you're a solicitor in the room, well done. You're going to make a mozza soon. But it's just. But then the other side is because what we found out was. I think it was over 50% of staff were using, whether a company had approved it or not, they were going and using it personally. So we have had to speed up our rollout of, Copilot, to make sure that everyone has AI enabled in their workplace.
Yeah, and then you get the fun part. I worked in a couple of larger corporate businesses, Westpac Bank, Vodafone. the fun thing we used to experience then with early adoption was it would just get blocked. They'd just block the app or block the web. We had Chrome
People
blocked at one
have
point.
ways around that. That's
Yeah.
the problem. Like
Yeah.
everyone works out that they can do
It's
it in a
always a way
different
around
way.
it. Yeah.
So I mean, that was like we've seen that firsthand. So it's been almost like training our team and explaining to all of them the risks behind AI and why it means so much to us as a business to enable them the correct way.
There's the convergence, right, as well.
Yeah.
So you've got the human component, which we're going to talk about shortly as well, and finding
Yeah.
the right skill sets and mindsets, I guess, for dealing with this brave new world that we're sprinting towards.
Yeah.
So the biggest question, I guess, there's constant talk about AI taking everybody's jobs. I think it probably will for a lot of areas. I've tried to convince myself that our part of the world is fairly safe for now, certainly in creative, and I do firmly believe that. But what are your thoughts, Ellesse?
I'd say, how many of us are really quiet and doing nothing?
Yeah.
Like honestly, marketing teams are always well over capacity. So I think
100%, yeah.
I think that's been the biggest positive thing with AI. It's actually taking some of the pressure off our teams who are already so overwhelmed and overloaded with everything.
Just don't tell anyone that yet.
Just
'Cause they'll give us
keep
more
it
work.
secret. And I think that's where it's cool. I think to Grace's point, I think we have to we can't lose traditional. Like this is really exciting times where we actually can kind of grow and innovate, but I really hope that we don't lose some of the traditional marketing.
I agree,
in the
yeah.
background.
Let's reduce the production time, but keep the creative human element.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think probably, I'm from the old school. Like, I'm a millennial, right? So, like Grace, I went to journals. I read the journal, like the 50-page journals, and wrote my essays. And so I think what's happening now, especially with the new generation, you got the high schoolers and you got the folks that are at uni right now, all the AI is being leveraged to create a lot of that knowledge that they're supposed to be actually learning. And so I feel that perhaps, like I mentioned earlier, there's a bit of people are losing kind of like that basic wisdom, knowledge, enrichment that we typically got in university and school. I think that is the hindrance of AI. And when you get to the workforce, like I see it because I have a few Gen Zers in my team, and they're fantastic. Like they're like go-getters. But what I'm noticing, I can tell straight away it's coming out of some AI platform, like the content that's being produced. So, and then you've got to go back in there and you've got to edit it. You've got to have that human touch, because one thing AI cannot do is empathize and know the audience, right? They don't know your customers. AI does not know that. And so that humanistic approach is lost. And then the new folks that are coming into the field of marketing now, using all these AI tools, perhaps they're losing that human touch, and they're losing their full capabilities because they're only producing 70%, which is what AI is giving. That 30%, what's happening to that, right? And I honestly think the human, that's why they call it a humanoid, right? Like, albeit it's a robot, it's a humanoid. We still need that human touch. We still need that personalization. We still need that empathy when it comes to the message, the tonality, and our voice as an organization.
I've seen some good examples, and I guess that goes for copywriting, but imagery as well. It's still fairly obvious. It's getting very good. Don't get me wrong, and video in particular is coming on leaps and bounds.
Again, that's such a risk.
Yeah,
It can be a risk. It can be fantastic and it can look really great, but can also be a risk, not just copyright, but also brand infringements that go on in the background. I've seen some classics out there.
Yeah.
Because AI can only do so much.
Name and shame. Go on. What's the funniest one you've seen?
No, I mean, the funniest one the worst one I've seen was out of this industry. Boss cracked it because his marketing team were so overworked that they couldn't get a photography shoot booked to do a shoot at the office. So he just went and did an AI course, generated it and put it on social media without looking at it properly. And it had every brand infringement known to mankind through it. It actually damaged his brand business and reputation quite significantly, and he was blocked from social media from that point.
It can go so badly. So
it can go
quickly.
really, really badly.
So that's a good segue, I guess, into the second part of the conversation about what skill sets are now needed, because it is shifting, right? It's dramatically different, and we've experienced it recently ourselves. We're trying to plan for the next few years and what that looks like. I think we were talking last week when we all met about early days in marketing. You'd look for an all-rounder. You'd try and find a unicorn of somebody that can do a little bit of everything: video production, copywriting, and that kind of disappeared for a while. You got very specialist roles. Somebody who's just an SEO expert, somebody who's an SEM expert, a copywriter, a creative. I feel like it's getting back to the point now where we're back to needing all-rounders, or somebody that gets technology, that's got a bit of that hustler mentality to go, right, there's a lot going on, let's focus and organise on this area. Would you agree? How about yourself, Dale?
Yeah, I definitely think we're looking for people that have got a good level of experience across the board. So we, again, as a big business globally, but we're actually a relatively small team here in Australia. So we've got a small number of people doing a big number of things. So
How many people are in the team, just out of interest?
In the specific consumer marketing team, there's really about 3 people, and we've got sort of our product marketing team where there's about, I think it's about 18 or 19 people. So it is, and we sort of cross responsibilities a little bit. So we've had a bit of a restructure, and we're still sort of finding our feet in that respect. But we definitely need people that that can cover all bases, because we want people that understand the product, understand the retail environment and the B2B environment we're working in, understand the customers, the various touch points, have access to the tools to use those touch points and engage with customers properly, understand branding, so when they're doing that, they understand the tone of the brand and how things should look. So yeah, we definitely need people that can cover all bases. But I think partly going back to the previous discussion, but also just on that point, if we can use the AI tools that are out there to supplement the critical thinking, and I guess that's all our job, to make sure that the tools that the staff that are coming through the channel are using, if we've got the oversight and we can make sure we can teach them how to use it to their advantage, not use it to replace themselves, then the all-rounder becomes more important, because they don't have to be specialised, because they can use some automation tools to do that, but they've got to have the ability to apply that critical thinking, understand the brand and the marketplace within which they're working, to then use those tools properly. So yeah, definitely a bit of a shift towards all-rounders.
Sure, yeah, and I guess the programmers or producers of these tools now are making them very intuitive and easy to use, and pretty much anybody can use them. I guess then, so you don't really need highly technical people. You just need people, to your point earlier, that can understand how that fits into the grand scheme of things.
I've always kind of been of the opinion, like, technology is like what you're saying, Joel, is like, it's that inspiration, it's that augmentation, it's that supplementation of things that remove a lot of that monotonous kind of work that we do as marketers, because we all got to do it. There's a lot of emails and stuff like that are got to be written, or you might be a ghostwriter for your executive team. So things that remove that monotony, but also set perhaps a benchmark for you to take it up a notch, right? AI should be there to kind of help you see, okay, this looks good. How do I take it to another level? And I think it was so funny, like just before this, like last night I was on LinkedIn, because as you are, when you're at Integrate and Security, you're on LinkedIn. I was scrolling
I'm not
through.
familiar with the platform, I'm sorry.
Right, the best platform for B2B, hello. But I have a friend, and she's a professor at Yale for business management. Last night, she actually posted something, and it was so apt. I feel like I should probably read it exactly word for word, but she was saying that, don't worry, AI can do a lot of things, but what you need right now is you need to make sure you have creativity, authenticity, and humor, because those are the 3 things that AI cannot take from you. And that is what we need in our messaging, in our brand, in our tonality. And yes, AI can get you to that benchmark, but to add that level of, that next level of enrichment for your brand, for your organization, and you as an individual, I think these 3 things are so important. Authenticity, AI does not have that, because it's using like a global kind of data warehouse of content, and it's never authentic. Humor, sure, it can be funny. If you talk to Siri, she can be kind of funny, but like never to the level that you can be as an individual from an authentic point. And then creativity is kind of like what I said earlier, is that I feel like the next generation that's coming through the pipe, I really feel that they should kind of use their full brain power now and not get lost in like the hype of AI, because when you get to like manager level or an executive level, maybe at that level you can start using it to supplement some of your work, but at a base level, grassroots level, you should really just learn basic content creation.
I agree. I think, and creativity, certainly in the marketing space, and from my own experience, has always been sort of deemed, certainly by leadership teams in businesses, as just, design. And creativity being design or creativity in production. I've always seen it as more than that. To your point again, creativity in how we're going to implement this thing, how we're going to use it to make the sales team's life easier, how we're going to get to the end of a deal stage or enter a new market. That for me, that's always been creativity. So it sounds like we're heading towards the marketers we're going to need to hire in the future are creative, but in a broad spectrum of the term. What do you think, Ellesse?
Yeah, look, I love that. I love the three words. I think the only thing I'd love to add to that is care. I think we need marketers who really care, because AI doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't. It will lie to you.
It may, but no. Like, I think it's that human impact.
Marketers, of course, would never lie.
Yeah, and that's like,
as we all know.
For every marketer I've ever worked with, have been some of the most passionate, enthusiastic, and caring people. That's the thing that we shouldn't lose with these tools. Use them as enablers, but don't lose that human impact.
Yeah, I agree, because marketing has like this, like Ellesse and Devyani said, like a human touch. You need that. You need to kind of understand what the customer's pain points are. You need to know how they think, and what their next steps are. You need to be 2 steps ahead of planning, so you can kind of capture them in that right space, and you need to know, what you're trying to advertise is going to be, whether they're going to be captivated or not by your ads, by your messaging, all of that. Yeah, authenticity is a big thing.
Cool. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you very much, everybody. We're almost at the finish line. Thanks very much.